Right, we're back.
We're back.
Looking a bit dishevelled now, aren't I? We're back because it's the end of TEDx Teesside, and actually, we couldn't tell you anything in between because you're not allowed to film speakers, are you?
Nope.
So, which is fair enough, isn't it? Because actually, when the videos come out, one of them will have our logo on it.
Yeah. And not only not allowed to film the speakers, but you're not allowed to take photographs, which at the time I felt a little bit like, oh, I wanted to take photographs. But you know what? I'm so glad that I could actually be present in the event and not look at the event through somebody else's mobile phone.
Do you know what? That's been an actual revelation, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Today I've had very, very little phone time.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we give a bit of a quick
do
overview of what we thought of the speakers and stuff?
Definitely. So let's start with the compare. Ben Pitcher, awesome.
Oh yeah, what a great job. I think it's such a hard job to control a room, especially with 400 people in it.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of humour, it was light-hearted, but a bit of firmness as well, like, I want you to sit down and behave yourselves, and if you're going to leave in the breaks. I liked that.
Yeah. I think it's about that presence and that command, and like, obviously, having done that role, they'll be tired tonight, that's all I can say. I've been there, so... and then on to our speakers. I'm still processing, right? But let's just run through them. So we had Holly Ellis, the Scouse scientist.
I don't know what to say. Right?
I don't know what to say.
She was awesome. Now, we met her last night and we had a right laugh, didn't we?
We did.
Talking to her, but we won't tell you that story.
No.
But she was absolutely brilliant. And you know, they say you can't be what you can't see. And that's what she spent her time doing. She's a scientist. Genomics,
genetics.
She told us a lot about genetics, a lot more than I'd ever knew about genetics, and she did it with such passion. She commanded that stage, and she was absolutely amazing. Hats off to her. And if there isn't, kids out there now wanting to be scientists,
it was about like breaking down the stereotype of when you close your eyes, do you see basically the mad scientist that looks like,
and I did. Well, I didn't because I've got aphantasia, but I imagined that's what it would.
Yeah. So she was awesome. Next one, Joel Bailey. So Joel, he was talking about AI. Now it was about a platform called Arwen, and basically it was all about how when we're on social media, it's actually only 7% of what's on social media that is actually negative, but because of the algorithm loving the drama, basically, and the negativity and the toxicity, that's why we see more of it. So basically, his real call to arms, weren't it, was to moderate your content.
Moderate yourself, call it out if you can. Make sure you alert the systems if you see something that you don't like. And remember, it is only 7%. Although he was quite clear that some people will see it more than others based on, like we talked about the women in motorsport thing. The higher uptake of women watching motorsport means that they're getting a higher percentage of the... But he had a bit of a call to action there, didn't he?
Yeah. And also, like, when you see positive, promote the positive, because that helps the algorithm as well. So it's telling the algorithm that you want to see that stuff. And I know from when I post on LinkedIn, if I've got a bit of good news, it's all lovely, it just goes, oh yeah, that's all right. But if there's a dramatic story, like the time I got mugged outside St Pancras, that one went crazy. So actually... as humanity, we need to enjoy the positive stuff more. We need to stop being so British about it.
And he was quite clear as well, it wasn't about freedom of speech. It's not about moderating you to the point where you can't have freedom of speech. It was about hatred and harm. And so that was really interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah. Next up was Kim McDermott. I genuinely nearly had a little tear. I had a moment, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And Kim is autistic, and she came onto the stage saying, I love the colour green, and they'd actually changed the TEDx spot to a green one. She bought
a green spot,
which was awesome. And she said, because I don't want the red underneath my feet, it'll not cool. So she was telling her story, how she wears our trainers. She just is being herself, and it was also a really important story around bias, and working with people because of their skills, not because of who they are.
She told her an incredibly valuable story in a very, very passionate way, and she brought Lockie.
Lockie.
The
puppet that she did in lockdown, and she got funding to make the puppet a reality, and she's got stop motions on her Instagram and stuff, so I'm going to check them out because I love a bit of stop motion. So yeah, that was awesome. Then we had Mansoor Somro.
He was one of my top, actually, because I completely got what he was talking about. He talked about generalists, about in life we can often go through that we have a skill and we go through and we become experienced and rewarded in that skill. And he talked about people being generalists or having more than one skill and working in more than one domain. And I really kind of got it. I was like, you know what, I've had multi domains in terms of I've worked in different environments throughout my career, and I wouldn't say I was brilliant at anything. I'm good at things, lots of different things, but not excellent at anything. And he was talking about how in this current world and the current climate with AI, what is the most valuable, what is coming, and he's done the data, he's checked the data, and it's actually so valuable to be a generalist. But there's different levels of generalists, isn't there?
It was talking about there's like an axis 2x2 always is in academia, right? But it was essentially like if you've got it was like the lower generalist was like you've got one skill, one domain, and then it was working up to like the expert generalist almost. Where essentially it was you've got many skills and you worked across many different domains. The domains being like I think about like myself and like the different kind of verticals and sectors I've worked on, and also my skills. And I'm looking at it now, and I was going, oh yeah, I'm an expert generalist, which is odd. But I think it's knowing that and appreciating that, because if somebody would call me a generalist a few weeks ago, I'd have been like, cheeky bugger. Like actually I've got skills in this and this. So I think it's made me see things a different way, which I guess is what TEDx is all about. So I love that.
Yeah, great talk.
Yeah. Then we had Natalie and Naomi Evans. What can we say? It was about racism, and do you know what? It was really sad actually, because they were telling the story around how, one was on a tube and it was herself that had to call out the racism and nobody else stood up.
Did it, yeah.
And I think there's a lesson there in for everything, tying back to the AI talk as well, is that if we're staying silent, we're being complicit. We need to start calling things out that we're not accepting of, and trying to show people that there's a better way of being a better good human. There you go, plug the t-shirt at the same time. But I think it's that humanity bit, and there is, to quote Joe Cox, there's more in common than what divides us, and I think that's the thing that we need to keep remembering. So that's what I took away from that one. We had Ned Gattenby, which was talking about climate change power.
Yeah, so he was really good as well, because what he was essentially saying is that, again, neurodiverse, he was talking about his childhood and how he'd grown up as a queer individual. And he talked about climate, but he talked about the little things you can do in your communities that really create the big things. He was like, just because you don't need to do massive things. You don't need to be moving oceans yourself, or that's probably not the right phrase, but whatever it is, mountains. Oceans. I'm going to struggle with an ocean and a mountain. But anyway, anybody knows what I mean. The point is, he was saying, like, if you do something in your community, you do some social value in your community. So he talked about the lowest class of the community being able to start in a club or doing small things that then created bigger things and bigger connections, which then are impacting. So it was about doing your, doing your bit.
The bit that resonated with me actually was when I was writing my book, The Human-Centric Workplace, part of it was about the communities. And there's a story that I tell around how corporates not paying tax has an impact on Kenya because of the coffee beans, and they're not getting the right money for the coffee beans, and therefore essentially basically there's a massive shortfall in their healthcare, and women have got a 1 in 30 chance of dying in childcare because they've not got enough money in their system. And actually, if we paid the right tax on coffee beans, how it would reverse that. And as Ned were talking, that is the thing that kept coming back to me, is we all impact things in our everyday decisions. And yeah, that was a great one.
I think something I often talk about is people often say to me they feel a bit helpless about what they can do. So why, so like there's so much going on in the world. What can I do? How can I make a difference? And one of the reasons that we give 10% back, as part of our business is because we know that even doing that 10% of doing something that we care about, that we feel passionate about, does create those ripples, do create waves. And actually, if we all did that little bit, we'd all be doing something massive.
Yeah.
So you choose that thing that you feel most passionate about and you hone into that.
Yeah.
And don't think you can do everything, because you can't do everything, but you can do a little something.
Yeah. And you know, on that note, I've not talked about this yet because I think I'm still processing it. But a couple of days ago, the Badger Cull finally went to Parliament, and they debated it in Parliament because there's 100,000 signatures, and the Badger Cull is coming to an end. So it's only taken 300,000 badgers and about £10 million, but it's finally coming to an end. So that is the power of people, because without them 100,000 signatures, that wouldn't have happened.
Oh, well,
so I don't have to go and stand in the middle of a field anymore and get shot at by farmers. Happy days. So that's my win. Then we had Tabby Kerwin. I love this one. So
Tabby, she came on stage with a black veil, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she talked about widowhood and how it's sadness of losing a husband, but actually owning your feelings. And she talked about how we've portrayed this, you should be shrouded in black and you should be really sad, but actually that's not what we are as humans. You know, we can laugh and cry, we can be happy, we can be sad, we can be emotional and unemotional all at the same time. And she was just like, you can own this. You don't have to live with what's expected of you. You can be the way you want to be and feel the way you want to feel.
And the story really was like how she was happier being a widow, not because of her husband died, but because the husband lived, and that actually it's taught her how to live. So that was a really, really, really good story.
And it did have people. There was a lot of tissues in the.
And last but definitely not least was Tammy Thomas. And I have actually read her book, and I didn't connect the dots until I finally realised and was like, oh yeah, I have actually read your book. But she was awesome as well, and it resonated a lot because she was talking about humanity. A lot of it around like the needs of humans and not burning out and understanding, I guess, what matters.
Over productivity, how we feel the need to work at 1,000,000 miles an hour and never switch off, and how we've grown up in a society that expects us to keep going, keep working and not switch off. And she was talking about taking back some time and resting and being less you don't have to always be running 1,000,000 miles. And I recognise that from being, from being in the world of work and being in a corporate job, and for always feeling like you need to be switched on and always need to be alert and answering that email. And it doesn't matter if you're on holiday, there was no boundaries. And that really resonated with me. What she had to say was recognisable.
Yeah. I mean, let's just go back to the conversation that we had near the arcade machine over there earlier, which was how much happier we both are now working together.
I had a little tea nearly, didn't I? Again, I did this when we did our event in London, and I did it again with this t-shirt on again.
Yeah.
And I said to Simone, I don't think I've ever been happier. Yes, it's hard to run a business. It's hard to get things going. It's hard to be entrepreneurial and to be everything. My own we're the finance director, the marketing expert, you name it, we are it, right? And it is hard, and it's hard out there right now. But I've never been happier, and I wouldn't change a thing.
No, I wouldn't. And it's weird, isn't it? Because going back to what Tammy Thomas was saying, how you measure success and how you measure productivity.
It's not about 6-7-figure salaries. No, I'm sure it is for some, but it's not for me.
No, it's not for me anymore. And it was like the holy grail. It was like, and I've got that car. And I think what I've realised over the last kind of 7 months is, firstly, it wasn't healthy. And it was leading to probably a shorter life. I felt less connected with those around me, my wife, family and everything else, my friends, less connected with myself. And I think as well, the more you earn, it's not about having more money. You just end up having a more expensive lifestyle.
There's a way to be richer in life without being richer with money. And I've never felt richer in life. I get more time with my dog. I get more time with my family. I get more time to think, more time to reflect, more time to try new ideas. I get to work with people I want to work with, and not with people I don't. I get to say, don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what more can you ask for?
Exactly. That ability to say no to work, as mental as it actually feels, saying that's not right for us, it is so right, like, to be doing that. And
although it'd be nice if, like, there are lots of people who are right to do work with,
totally, absolutely. And I think on that note as well, like, it's so, and we had a moment at the IWF Awards last week, didn't we, where a few different self-employed people, we were all talking about it, and we're saying it's bloody hard out there right now. And I think the one thing that you can do, and what I'd really encourage you to do, apart from giving purchase orders to us, obviously,
and buying our new book,
and our new HCLP program and all that stuff, but aside from that, is just, do you know, if you want to work with someone, don't wait, just get on with it, because what are you waiting for? Don't wait for that impact to happen. Don't take the kind of the short term over the long term, like, it will end up more expensive for you. And work with the smaller businesses. Don't rely on the bigger organisations, and there's a lot of smaller organisations doing such good work with so many good people, and you will get people that really, really care about what they're doing
and passionate about what they're doing,
and they will do a really good job for you. We're working with a few different small businesses at the moment to power our business, and honestly, like, it makes such a difference, doesn't it, just to have that, like, the actual founder director on the call doing the thing with us.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
And it's about giving back to the community as well. So definitely look around you, look in the network, and if you're looking for a business, you need something, just look further than the big organisations.
Do the right thing.
The right thing. Like, be a good human.
And look at the social value as well. Working with somebody like ourselves, we can give you the stats.
Yeah, exactly.
We record it every month.
We've been tracking it. Yeah. And you know, as well, like, so at the moment we're waiting on an invoice being paid, and it is my biggest bugbear in the last kind of 7 months of how long it takes the bigger organisations to pay the smaller organisations.
I'm going to say, Simone, that's a podcast for another day.
That is a podcast for another day.
Can't leave TEDx. We can't end TEDx on a rant.
So, you know what? On this note, this is where we've been today. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
I've had a great time, and I've also met Oxo. Awesome. And I've hung around with Lou as well.
I know, it's nice, isn't it?
I know. I think this is like the 7th time we've actually seen each other in the flesh. Not bad to say we've been running a business together, eh? With all the remote work. So we'll edit this down probably, and we'll get it live because we're now at 17 minutes. Happy days.
Smashing event.
Smashing. Really good. Lots to reflect on. I've got a long train journey back to Sheffield, and I think that is reflection time. Headphones in. Definitely. It's going to be good. So that's us.